If you like this video, please click on the like button. Comment with the names of the movies you would like us to cover next. Click the subscribe button and press the bell icon to get notified of our latest creations. We cover 100 movies from around the world every day. To advertise with our channel, reach out to us. Our contact information is on our channel page. Now, let's move to the plot of this movie.
In the 1940s Protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia, Eliska is a nurse who works alongside her lover, Richard, a respected surgeon. They are part of an underground resistance network that has formed to help those in danger of persecution from the Nazis. Eliska acts as a messenger. One night, Richard responds to an emergency call to a patient needing a risky operation. Because she has the same blood type, Eliska gives blood for the transfusion. Days later, she arrives at Richard's apartment to find their friend, Slavek, with news that the Gestapo has apprehended 2 of their members, putting everyone at risk of discovery. Eliska is told that Richard has emigrated, leaving papers for her to assume a new identity. Slavek says that she must leave the city with a man named Joza, the patient who had received the transfusion. Seeing no alternative, Eliska, now Hannah, leaves for the countryside. As a mountain dweller, Joza appears uncouth and disheveled. But he is kind and considerate to her plight. He provides her with temporary refuge in a small village, where she quickly becomes the object of curiosity. Some, such as teacher T-Cake the schoolmaster, are xenophobic and suspicious. The Nazis have killed anyone harboring enemies. Eliska tries to leave, but the village doctor reveals that the Nazis have executed Slavek. He tells her that to remain safe, she must marry Joza and live with him in the mountain village of Zalari. Initially, Eliska is reluctant. Joza takes her to their new home, a small cottage with no electricity, dirt floor, and a fly-infested outhouse. On the day of their wedding, Eliska rebels, but relents upon Joza's explanation that the villagers will not accept a strange single woman. So Eliska agrees, and the 2 are married. At the wedding, she meets most of Zalari's inhabitants. Helenka is a young girl who lives near Joza and Eliska with her mother, Zina. Her best friend is Lipka, a boy whom the villagers treat as an outcast, but who is actually homeless due to his stepfather Mitchell's dislike of him. He survives through the goodwill of Zina, Luka the village midwife, and old Gorik, an elderly gentleman who lives with his daughter-in-law, Marie, a victim of spousal abuse. Eliska seems ill-suited to rural life. She finds the villagers' behavior raucous and crude, and is particularly repulsed by Mitchell, the drunk, who makes unwanted advances. As time passes, Joza's patience and Zina's gentle guidance help her to assimilate. Despite this, Eliska remains wary of her husband, until one evening when she breaks their only lamp and fears a beating. On the contrary, Joza is comforting and gives her a gift, a stack of books that she may like. One day, he takes her to his mother's grave and Eliska is moved by the love and kindness he feels. Joza falls in love with Eliska and she with him, leading to the consummation of their marriage. Years pass and Eliska, called Hanula by the villagers and Hanulka by Joza, bears witness to a number of incidents. The Nazis, though scarce in Zalari, kill an entire family for harboring partisans, and then murder an innocent man in front of everyone. Eliska fears that the Gestapo will find her. Mitchell attempts to rape her at the sawmill. Helenka witnesses the attack and alerts Joza, who beats Mitchell and breaks his arm. His parents, the Katinas, then force Mitchell's pregnant wife and Lipka's mother, Aninka, to do all the farm work. which leads to her miscarrying. Lipka alerts Aliska, Lukka, and Xena. But it is too late. Aninka's death destroys Mitchell's reputation and redeems Lipka in the eyes of the villagers. By the spring of 1945, Aliska is a nurse again, and learns the art of herbal healing from Lukka. The old woman divulges that Marie and her father-in-law, Old Gorik, are expecting a child. Following the birth, soldiers from the Red Army arrive with news that the war is over. After a night of celebration, Joza reminds Aliska that she is free to leave, their marriage being technically invalid. Aliska replies that she wants to stay with him always, and falls asleep on the mountain in Joza's arms. Young Gorik, furious over his father's relationship with his wife, arrives at Old Gorik's home with a drunken soldier who he persuades to rape Marie. Old Gorik arrives and shoots his son, as well as the would-be rapist. But the latter's brother arrives and shoots him. Intoxicated, the soldiers interpret the killing as the act of fascists and shoot at the villagers. With help from Lipka, many escape by crossing a swamp towards an old sawmill, where Lukka and Aliska tend to the wounded. Joza races back and forth between the haven and the village, and rescues several people, including Mitchell. Meanwhile, the soldiers kill the village priest and rape Xena. Vojta, a farmhand, comes to her aid and Joza goes back to rescue him. The next morning, they arrive at the sawmill and find soldiers heading in the same direction. The villagers are relieved, but Joza collapses, Vojta having shot him earlier after mistaking him for the enemy. Devastated, Aliska kneels beside Joza's lifeless body and weeps. Quote, years later, Zaleri is virtually abandoned due to modernization of the town below. Aliska, now with Richard, returns to visit the mountains and the cottage that she had shared with Joza. Lukka emerges from the ruins and is shocked to see Hanola, but remembers that nothing disappears off the mountain. There's always tracks. Astounded, Aliska asks if it is possible that Lukka is still alive. To which Lukka responds, I am none too sure. I am none too sure at all. On the top of the mountain. The women laugh. Single quote.